Well, it's time for game number 3 between Parting and Rain. Are you guys excited? And the crowd goes wild. Parting and Rain, I think a lot of this is going to come down to build orders. It seems like that this whole matchup has come down between these two to who's choosing what build, because their builds are a little bit dramatic and do have hard counters. In the bottom left, losing with the Void Ray 3-gate rush, we have Party. And in the upper left, we have our Terran player completely deflecting that all in. Make some noise for Rain.
For this map, Tal'Darim Altar, I feel like if Parting really knows his opponent and what he's kind of up to and the way their skills match up the longer you get into the game, I feel like a 3-gate pressure into Expand would be the ultimate build.
Ooh, I like that.
Parting.
I really like that.
Thank you.
It's well-rounded and it's safe,
yeah.
And I think both players have learned serious lessons from taking some risky builds when maybe you should have just played a standard game.
And if I'm Rain here, I'm thinking of maybe a couple builds. I'm thinking maybe, do I fake a 1-Rax Expand and just hide another Rax or 2 and send SCVs and try to kill someone that's going for a quick Nexus off of 1 gateway? Or maybe do I do some sort of crazy Hellion Marauder all in? You know, those are probably what I'm thinking of right now, because again, if you go to late game against Parting, he has Psystorm everywhere, and it just, no one knows if you can stop that. We haven't seen it yet.
We mentioned this earlier in one of our other matches. I believe it was Alive versus Oz, but this is a map where, although it's pretty tricky for the okay, never mind. Hold on. We have a Barracks sitting in the middle of the map.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about late game anymore. This game may end very quickly. This is not as risky as some things Terran can do, because the Barracks is probably going to be able to make it back home.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb and say that it's so very likely that we are going to see him send SCVs with this. What he's doing is that first option that I mentioned, which is trying to fake a 1-Rax Expand. Notice how that SCV is sitting there at the natural. He wants to say, hey, you, look, I'm expanding. No gases. I didn't wall in all the way. Check it out. I want to make a command center. But he's hiding that probe again to see if he can figure this out. Now, if he goes ahead and makes his Nexus right away with maybe just as little as 1 Stalker or maybe even no units, then an SCV Marine all-in has a potential to kill him.
He's going to sneak in, but then again, this might not be enough information. He's going to say, where's that command center?
Yeah, and
he's going to check the gases. And he might even say, oh, it's a hidden command center somewhere else, when in fact it's quite the opposite. It's a move that is intended to end. Now, Rain's in this awkward position. He cannot send his SCVs with a rush until this probe is killed.
That's right.
Or his hand is tipped.
I have to say, I think that we're going to see some gateways added for Parting in just a few moments here. No, he throws down the Nexus, but he is going to go ahead and get additional Stalkers. If he intercepts everything in the middle of the map and micros perfectly, those Stalkers may end up being enough against this.
Okay, the Marines are being rallied. Generally, and Artosis is correct with this, generally what people do is they just send so many SCVs because they absorb all the damage, and then your Marines clean up the rest. But instead,
smart move.
He expands.
If he goes ahead with this after that probe didn't find a command center, of course he's going to think, okay, you have a proxy barracks. You're trying to, you're trying to fake me out and kill something that's a little bit too greedy.
Well, here's a question, because I think that actually, if he didn't make the command center and sent the SCVs and Marines, I think it would have worked.
Well,
he did make a Nexus.
Parting did, though, Chrono Boost out some extra Stalkers, and normally with a build like this, you don't get quite as many, but we are going to see it. He's now attacking forward a little bit with these Marines that he does have. We do not have SCVs on the way at all. This is just going to be a pressure with all these Marines. It's a good idea for him to do.
Okay, he's continuing to micro back. And this is good, because this is this weird thing Terran could do where they just push with Marines, and they're not going to win or anything with this, but they get to scout. They now know for sure that there's a Nexus there. Probes are not going to be transferred during this.
Parting has some of the best micro I have ever seen with Stalkers, just really greatly kiting them, not losing any quite yet. It looks like he will lose at least 1 here, though. Nope. Parting doesn't lose Stalkers. And warps in 3 more. All those Marines will end up going down.
And this is really nice play. I think maybe Party being a little bit too cautious there with the probes. That's a lot of lost mining time. And so this game is going to go on, and it looks like Rain with a little bit more of a middle-of-the-road build here, getting both of his gases, getting a bunker, 3 barracks, no add-ons just yet.
You know, he's got to get his Marine count up a little bit. He's got to make at least that 1 bunker. I really feel like he should be making a second because parting here, he did lose 5 probes, but he killed a lot of Marines, losing only 1 stalker. So a little bit of counter pressure could be strong.
The stalkers are microing up now. Now here's what they want to do. They're checking the rocks up here and just making sure that there are no Marines attacking them. He does not want to let the Terran get that 3rd base easily. And it's smart. I totally agree with it.
Well, looks like Rain has enough units right now to hold off everything. And very interesting. Parting is actually going just for a single forge right now.
If we can get a shot of that Marine at the very bottom. Actually, I'm sorry, no, there's a battle going on. He's microing these stalkers over here at this bunker, and the bunker's going to go down.
Beautiful micro
there.
That
was a very surprising moment. What I wanted to point out earlier, but there was that attack, is that there was a Marine at the bottom center that did check those rocks to make sure that Parting was, in fact, not attacking the rocks either. So both players are basically trying to gauge when the other guy is going to get his 3rd base.
Well, right now, the tech is going up for Rain. He's got those 4 barracks in his main base, getting some additional add-ons. He's got to get his upgrades going. And just the +1 armor with the 2nd forge on the way a little bit later for Parting, as well as a Twilight Council. So he's going to go ahead for the same unit composition that we saw Oz go for earlier, which is, you know, a lot of people like it on this map. And I would say almost especially in these positions. You know, the Colossi isn't going to give you any significant advantage attacking north from the bottom left.
Yeah, that's a very smart observation. That and this map is pretty open. And, you know, the Colossus is better in a closed-off area. As long as that area is not so narrow that Vikings can abuse it, it's in good shape.
The middle small area.
Yeah.
SCV ready.
Well,
so he's just pushing out here and making sure this, you know, the SCV controls the watchtower. And, yeah, some map control here from our Terran.
Yeah, and it's a good choice. His stim is about to finish. His bat shields are, in fact, not started yet, but he does have concussive shells. So it is possible for him to push up a little bit. But, you know, Parting, he has enough units. If he just plays defensively on the hill, it's going to be pretty hard to break him. But medevacs are on the way, and as soon as medevacs are out with stim, everything changes. But at the same time, that Templar Archives is almost done, and adding in even 1 Archon with that Gateway Army can slow down those early medevac pushes quite well.
Now remember, he did do one of these builds where he got his gas very late, so there's not as many medevacs as you would normally have at a TVP.
Yeah.
So the Terran does have to be pretty cautious whenever moving forward. And you can see now, looks like he's going to send out 1 little SCV to take a peek and see if he can figure out where the army is on the map. And indeed, Parting is turtling pretty heavily here.
Well, right now, Rain is starting to put on more pressure. He can always snipe that gas. Let's not forget, it's a very common move. In fact, loads up a little bit, and he's going to have units on the low ground as well. And oh, look at where he wants to land at. But some nice feedbacks going down, and those medevacs aren't going to be able to heal at all. He's got to be careful, though. Lots of units on that low ground. In fact, those force fields were very bad for Parting, cutting off his Zealots so that he could not attack those units.
The force fields disappear. He can still land the factory again if he wants to. A lot of damage being dealt, but it does look like Parting will wipe out everything that is on the high ground.
Yes, and Rain takes a big supply lead, 109 to 86, but it's not that bad for Parting. It's not as bad as it seems. He did kill off a couple of medevacs, did kill off a good amount of Rain's units as well, and he's got 2-2 on the way, whereas Rain only has that +1 with the 1 armor on the way.
I am under the impression that the 3rd base is never going to be an issue in this game. I could be wrong, but I mean, Parting's 3rd base is just so hard for the Terran to get to, and same for the Terran. The 3rd base is actually such a kind of obscure location.
Yeah. It's something we won't see so much. A lot more damage will be done at naturals and in mains, I do think.
Yeah.
Well, we do have a couple medevacs on the way down the map, but Parting is completely ready for them. He has, well, he's making that 3rd, but he has a lot of stalkers in that main.
And Parting just trying to develop the complete economy and make sure that he's going to, have a strong late game. Now I can bring this up because this game actually is going on for, for a while. It's almost impossible for Terran to get a 5th base. It's really, really tough. Because the farther Terran stretches itself out, the weaker it becomes. And this is, as you guys can see, a very big map. We're going to have an attack again, landing the factory this time. A little force field for the Terran here, taking out the gas. And that's a very good move because the Protoss is going for Templars, so obviously gas is very important.
Yeah. And I have to say, I love all the feedbacks we've been seeing. Look at this now, trying to go around and find a place to go with these medevacs, see if he can drop. But again, a lot of Templars being used to feedback, and feedback just so useful. Takes down both of them, but will lose all these stalkers here.
And also note he's got a bum rush to 3rd base at the bottom center, attacking so many locations at once, and the Nexus goes down.
Oh,
Ninja vanish
by Rain here, and Parting is being pulled in all directions. And in fact, Rain's supply lead has gone up. He's up by over 20 supply now.
That was really impressive.
Yeah, he's playing very, very well.
That was really, really good.
But at the natural, we have another drop going down, but another feedback as well. And all these feedbacks are really doing well against Rain's medevac-based play right now.
Well, taking out that Nexus, I can't believe he's going to make a Hellion out of this factory, okay? Anyways, taking out that Nexus is huge, though. Because it looks like the new expansion here for Rain is going to be set up before the expansion for Parting. So Parting definitely at a disadvantage. You can see Rain at about 150 supply to the 126 of Parting. So Rain definitely has got a shot here.
Yeah, he's got his 3rd orbital up. It's sitting right there. No SCVs at it yet, but having that 3rd base before the Protoss, when the Protoss is going a Twilight Council-based army, can be dangerous, especially when they don't have Storm. And so Parting is in some trouble here. Oh, he does have Storm research already, actually, but and that's good. But we have Ghosts out already and a ton of barracks.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a very difficult moment here where Parting will not be able to get out on the map. And if Terran has map control in a situation like this, it's just so bad. He can make a perfect arc and then EMP the Protoss as it tries to move out. It's going to be very hard for the Protoss to have everything split up.
Well, a Robo finally being made. A couple of Ghosts in this army. In fact, nice number of 5. Cloak is on the way. And Cloak is actually going to finish before there's any observers on the field. So if he actually hits a timing with that Cloak and gets some perfect EMPs and snipes off, then this army may be able to finish it as he is up by 30 supply.
Let me tell you something, guys. If Rain does win this, it's a pretty damn big upset.
Yeah.
Parting is the Protoss everybody's talking about in Korea, and Rain is sort of old news. So we have a scan coming up here. Let's see if Rain tries to engage. Okay, he's moving out with the Ghosts in the front. All it takes is a few good shots off from the Ghosts, and it all comes falling down.
3-3 is about to finish for Parting. And we have 1-1, but 2-2 is very close for Rain. But if he attacks right away before that observer is out, 2-2 will not be done. So this is actually a pretty hard choice.
He's going around again. Ooh. Looks like Parting a little bit better about this than Oz. Now sneaking into the main entrance, snipes the Templars. Nice assassination move there. A storm on the Ghost, but they managed to get in, and this Terran Deathball is looking pretty scary.
Oh, huge storms going on.
Oh my God.
And he did not get all those High Templars. Parting just shredding through his army, and he takes a supply lead. He was down by 30. That was like the best storm we've seen at MLG. Got so much stuff. That got so much stuff. He was trapped in there, Tasteless. He overcommitted there for a moment, not knowing that he had gotten all the storms, not leaving himself any room to dodge. And Parting took a situation where he was down by 30 supply, and now he is up by 10. He's even taking a 4th base, so everything looking very good for him.
Well, Parting proving that he can bounce back. A Zealot now encountering the Marines over here, and the Marines being merciful at the Zealot get away. He wants to check and see is there an expansion here. There is indeed one. And I'm curious to see if Rain's going to try to attack again because they're pretty much even on supply.
Yeah.
What's the story here? I don't know.
Funny little battle going on in there. I think
this is actually what happens when you have a bad rally point.
Yeah, that's actually, yeah, it's everything rallied down there, or he did, and now he has reset that finally. Good observer placement, seeing the exact movements of Rain's army.
I do like the planetary in the top center. That's pretty smart. Again, these really bad rally points here by Rain, he's got to be careful because he's, it's really wasteful. It's so wasteful. Okay, nice. Scans, takes out the observer.
In fact, takes out 2 observers there.
And is controlling the Zelnaga watchtower.
Oh, a couple cloak ghosts going down towards
right
his army right now.
Observer. Oh, that was badass, dude.
Wow,
Whoa.
EMPing it and then killing it off. Of course, EMP uncloaks units for a moment. And actually, misses getting those High Templars. There is another observer in there. Will he snipe it, though? No, he chooses not to.
Now chasing the Marines and the Marauders. There is, for some reason, 3 SCVs in the middle of this army, and he is just barely going to get out of there. Nice kiting.
Parting taking a pretty substantial lead at this point with that 4th base, with those superior upgrades. But Rain does have 3-3 on the way, making a lot more ghosts. And, oh, he's got to be careful here. He can't be losing ghosts. He actually can't be losing anything at this point. Party's just getting too strong.
Nice EMPs there, but apparently not enough to prevent a Psionic Storm. Well, we're getting at that point, guys. Where the hell is the Terran going to expand next? If you really look at the map, there's nowhere that's easy. They could go to the center left, which is clearly very close to the Protoss' main base. He could try to go to the upper right, but that's a pretty far distance to travel. So all Parting has to do is basically wait. He may elect to try to go in for a kill move, but he can just wait.
Yeah, and even though Rain has a lot of gases, gas isn't the resource you really need in this matchup. As far as minerals go, he's really only mining from 2 bases, whereas Parting is mining from 3 right now.
Ghosts are now moving out. He's got to be very careful. Oh, that was a nice EMP. Only 1 sentry with energy. Another nice storm here. Running back through the storms now. He's got to be very careful.
And as you see from Parting, he just throws storms up everywhere. And even though all those High Templars do go down, the army of his opponent is greatly reduced in health. And that is a scary army right there with very few Vikings on the field. Only 4 made so far.
I think Parting may have managed to survive his big deficit early on. He has the Colossus out now. There's not a ton of Vikings. He's now going to push forward, try to clear out this territory. Let's see how successful it is. The Vikings even retreating when they should be attacking.
He's got to be careful. He's got to run away because these side storms got to come down. And this is looking just so terrible for Rain. GG.
Good luck. Good game.
And Parting shows us that even when he is behind, he is just too much of a force.
He is a tenacious nerd indeed. Definitely worthy of a win there. He just waited it out. Rain was unable to do it. Make some noise for Parting, guys. He played really well. JP, Rob, your thoughts?
I mean, those storms were probably, like you said, some of the best we've seen at MLG. The ones at the expansion were incredible. It was his only retreat path, and he blanketed it with 2 or 3. And then right there at the end, it was just storms everywhere. And that was the ultimate downfall of Rain there in that final game.
That's it. Right?
Yeah.
Like Rain,
Done.
well, so Rain had an advantage. He thought that he picked off all of those High Templar and then pushed into the natural.
Right.
And Parting actually had more storms and killed his entire army, like 50 supply in 4 game seconds.
Rain did some incredible stuff, though, like the EMP snipe on the Observer, then taking out 2 Templar after that. That was nice.
That was pretty sick. Also, I liked when he, actually, with Dan and me, we have our own Observer as well. None of us were quite able to keep up with how much was going on when the 3rd base was taken out.
Yeah.
By Parting. By Rain, excuse me.
Yes.
That was really slick.
Yeah, very strong move right there.
I mean, just forcing the army out of position, going in there, getting the Nexus. I think had that been alive, for instance, in that game, Parting would have lost. But Rain, not quite as strong of a Terran player. That's the way I feel.
All right.
We're going to cut to a commercial, and when we come back, we're going to have more awesome action here at MLG.